So now we're gonna perform a somewhat more complicated one, which is to update. There are several things to do from here. The first one is we're going to use the student handler to perform that update. So we're going to create a function which is public and update student. And to update student, you're going to give the new student ID. Given the student ID as an integer, you need to know student ID. Then you need to know all the other information just like you have before. So I'm gonna copy those things and paste in here. But this time, because we are updating, so we need to know also the student ID. Then we also need to do everything like this. So I'm just gonna copy and paste, and I'm gonna modify that. Also update, not into, but update students, and you wanna set as name equal to the first, as name equal to first string, set as name equal to the first string, as address equal to the second string, cohort equal to the number, and the staff equal to number 2. Then and we need to add where student ID equal to the student ID over here. Then from now on, we're going to just do the command, and we need to do the format for command template. Then you have to put in the student name, student address, and the student ID is the last values for you. So you will take the student name to put into this new name, address to be the new address, cohort to be the new cohort staff, the ID to be the new staff ID. But then you need to take the student ID to put into where student ID equal to student ID. This is the one. Then you execute update and return the result. Okay, then that one is done in student handler. But the next task will be when we wanna update this the student, we need to right click on double click on one of the row, because if we click it, select that row already. But if we double click, by default it's going to edit that form. You'll see from here. Just explain why now. So if we run this one, and if we view the student, and if we double click on this, by now it's just allow you to edit this one. Okay, and editing in here is something okay, but it's not professional to edit it over here. So I'm going to change that behavior. I will not allow user to edit on the table, but if you double click on this, it will pop up a form, a dialog for deleting. So that said, I will need to, let me just redesign this a bit more. So now we're going to do the first thing, get into this and see our table molder from here, and I'm going to redefine. I'm going to redefine our alt insert over here, redefine or override the method which is cell editable, this one. So I will return false. Then I will return false. Okay, return false. So we are not going to be able to delete that anymore, or to edit that anymore, sorry. Then we right click on this one, to modify the controller. So right click on that. So next we will click on event, then mouse, then we say mouse click. So when we click on that, okay, so from here we'll need to know if it is double click. So So we'll say if evt dot get click count, and if it's equal to 2, it means that it's a double click, and this double click will going to get their selected students. Okay, so from here we need to get the selected students. So we get back to our tables. So we did have what is when we populate the table students, we did have a list of students over here. Okay, and the first row will be the first student in this list, second row will be second student in this list, third row will be third student in this list. So if I know the row that the user click on, then I will be able to get the corresponding students to load the data from that. I mean, there are multiple ways you may load that data manually using student ID, but I must use a trick here. This one is a trick. So we have students here, and I'm gonna put that one up here so that I will be able to use this list. Okay, so when I have that list already, get down to the updates, I'm gonna get students students equal to students, okay, dot get, and I want to get which row is that, the selected row from the table. So I will get the table or just, yeah, just let me see, evt dot get button, get click on, get so on and so forth, get point. It doesn't have that. We'll just get the selected row from the table then. Table students dot get selected row. Okay, the selected row, and the selected row is the row index, and it's going to be correspond to the students or the list over here anyway. So we have that students already. So we know that user need to populate this, need to update this students. Then next we'll create a form, and this update will not be able to update multiple students at a time, so we'll not create a separate form. We will create a dialog, because each time you click on one, it's pop up one dialog, not a separate form. So in the interface, I'm going to right click, new, then I'm going to create a it should be J dialog somewhere, if you can find from here. Yeah, okay, cancel dialog. Okay, it is J dialog. Then I'll just go to other. If you don't see it there, just go to others, then see the swing. Okay, and you would have J dialog form here, so it's okay, cancel dialog. So it's J dialog form next. And I'm gonna name this one as form as well, update student. Finish. Form update student. And the form for update student, first thing first, it's going to have a main, because it's a dialog, it's going to run all by itself. But I'll remove that part for the main function there, just to remove its main behavior. So I will remove the main. You may keep it there, it doesn't do anything, but I'm just safely remove that. It's safe to remove that. Then next, the form for adding students, updating student is somehow exactly the same as adding student. So I will go to the form add student and copy the code from here, copy it, and get back to the form update students, drag it up a bit. Then now I'm going to paste it in. Okay, so we have pretty much it. Okay, and for this one, form update students. Okay, for this one, I'm going to delete it, because we'll just say okay or cancel. Okay. Then the next thing is we need to show this one. We need to show this form out and see what's going on first. So how to show that in our view students? Now we're going to need to show their form. So you're gonna have form view student, not form view student, form update student, form update student equal to new form update students. Okay, and the parents will be this one, and I will need to say it's true, it's motor equal to true, which means that it's when it shows the incubator from student gonna be compared to frame, it need to have its frame, so it's need to access the. I'll just set null then. Okay, null then. Okay, next we'll do form update student. Form update students over here, so we are going to show that form update students dot set visible equal to true. Okay, so let's just see if we could show it first. Let's see if we could show it first. Okay, so deleting, we have to update dialogues. This one I already explained. Okay, we need to okay, this is the code that oh no, this is delete. Okay, we'll just get into that. So this one will have students, and we want to update. I'll have to add the menu for it too, but so far we know that we can update by review. So click on here, and if I do double click on this, it does show the form now. And because it's showing the form on top here, you cannot bring you cannot click on the background, because when we what they update, we want the user to update once at a time. So the next one would be, we need to load the data for this update form. We need to load the data for this update form. Okay, pass the data for that update form. So what we want to do will be, okay, what we'll do from here, we will create from the form update, from the form update students, form view, form main, form update students. In the background, first we need to populate the data. So we need to populate the data for the cohort. It is very similar to how we populate data in the form add. So we need to also populate the cohorts over here. Okay, populate the cohorts. So I'll need to go to form update students, populate the cohorts. Just click on OK so that they're going to import everything there. Then I will add to the form update here, I will need to populate cohorts as well. Okay. So this one, they will load all the cohorts, but it will not display what cohort it is for the student. So we will make another one, which is the public void set function, set student. We need to set the student information, student, okay, and student. We need to set student for we need to set student for this form. So if we set the student for this form, we're going to make it private student current student, which is the one, let us make student then, which is the one that we are updating. So we'll say this dot student equal to student. Besides, we'll also load the data to the form. So first thing first, we'll load the name. So we'll do txt name, which is the name of the text form that we copy and paste from the form add, and we want to set text to the student get name, to the student dot get name, because we take the name of the existing students, current updating students, and add it to the text field. Next, txt address dot set text, and you do you get the student dot get address. You're gonna have the address and set it to that. And now we also set the selected. We also set the selected. We also set the selected. How is that? Cohort for the student. Cohort for the student, because we populate the cohorts over here, but it's load everything and it's select. It set the cohort to the first one. But the currently updating students may be in different cohorts, the second one, third one, fourth one, or any numbers there. So we're going to loop through each one of them, and we're going to set it. Okay, so we'll just do something like let's say we'll get the cpx combo box cohorts dot items dot get items count. So for each of the item there, then we get the item at each of the item. So like this, well, how this one int. I mean, there are multiple ways of doing that. One of the ways that we can do is to bring this list of cohorts out, okay, and look through the cohorts and check which one is selected. Then this is that approach. Then it's a lot simpler, but it's a trick. So cut this one, bring it, hoist it on top here, cohorts. So we'll have list of cohorts there to use for the motors. So we'll loop through each of the cohorts. So cohorts dot for each cohorts, and we'll use the lambda operation here and say if cohort dot get cohort ID equal to students dot get cohorts, then we're going to do like the cpx cohort dot set selected item to the cohort that. So we're going to, for each of the cohorts there, we check the cohorts. You get the ID dot get the cohort ID, and if that cohort ID equal to the student cohort ID, then that should work. Okay, that should. Okay, and you set that cohort to the combo box. By now, let me see, I have any errors there? No. Okay, by now we'll just get back and see. Okay, run this one and see if we could successfully load the information. Okay, so if you have student, and again it's our code to update, but now we'll just go through view, and you should know that this student number 3, it's will have student 3 address 3. Then also remember that the cohort ID is cohort number 3, which is the third one in the box. So if you double click on this one, you'll see that we haven't called the methods set student, so it doesn't do that yet. But let me go back to call that method. So in the form view student, before showing it, I will need to call that form update student dot set student, okay, to the currently selected student there, then before showing it out, then show it out. So by now, let's just run this. Okay, click on this. Remember, this one is in cohort number 3. You should select the 5th cohort in the list. So double click on this one. It's already show you the student 3 address, which is the student name and address, which is correct. And it's also select summer 2022, which is the 3rd one in the list. That is true. So now I would like to perform the update from here. Let's say change the cohort or let's say change the cohort or change student name. But I won't do that in the next video because it's get pretty long already.